Oil is back as the number one topic in the market, jumping above $90 a barrel. Absolutely unthinkable just 3 weeks ago. In today's show, we're going to talk about the levels of oil. We're going to talk about the oil stocks because that's where the real action is. And we have been on the right side of this. And I'm going to give you my favorite US oil stock that is still a buy right now, my favorite European oil stock, and I'm going to give you one secret trade that nobody's talking about right now. You need a lot of cojones for that one, but it could pay off big. Let's get into it. Welcome to Hot Trades of the Day, your show for swing trading ideas for the coming days, weeks, and months. Welcome to Hot Trades of the Day. My name is Daniel Wahalmi. Wow, what a rally in oil. I really hope you watched my video, what was it, about 10 days ago now? When I told you, hey, pay attention to oil. Things are changing. Get in on the oil stocks. If you did so, hopefully you did. You're making a killing. Feel free to send me champagne bottles or business class tickets to the Maldives. I accept either one. That would be kind. Just kidding. I'm really happy if any of you had any gains. I really hope you were not short in oil. I've been pounding the table on this for weeks, telling you, do not short oil. Because you cannot calculate the geopolitical aspects of it and what will happen. And we're seeing this right now. The shorts are getting squeezed. Look at WTI here in 2026. Yeah, the RSI is overbought. So what? It does not matter when geopolitics are influencing the price and the shorties are running for their lives because they are getting margin calls and the brokers are running behind them with flamethrowers. It's got to be a brutal time right now for oil shorts. Thank you for being on the right side on that one. Now, what do the technicals tell us? The technicals clearly tell us the next big zone is around 93 to 93.50. This is the downtrend. We break the downtrends. We're going gap fill, and that is $100 a barrel. Do I think that's probable just based on technicals alone? No. I would think on technicals alone, how overbought the market is, how wild the price jump has been, that we would bounce off and at least get a small correction in oil. But technicals alone do not matter with oil. That's what I'm always trying to tell people here on the channel. Yes, we're going to look at the charts and they give us clear signals. But the charts alone, whoever tells you the charts alone, that is the way you should invest, seriously, you should unsubscribe to that channel right away. Because nothing but this chart alone tells you it's just not true. And oil is extremely complicated because of geopolitical factor. So, yeah, we are overbought on the RSI or just on the verge of getting there. But let me show you this. We were overbought here on March 2nd. Now, if you saw this red candle and you ran into the resistance, this blue zone right here, or the market opened and the price was down here, overbought on the RSI, and we're at a resistance, what would the pure technical chart-only person tell you? Huge gap, short oil. We're overbought, short oil. Well, as you can see, the overbought scenario went a lot higher. The price jumped. I don't even know how many people got flamethrower to the face here and lost their shirt and their whole year is basically shot, and they're just trying to dig themselves out of the hole they got in. So overbought scenarios in a short squeeze scenario on top with the geopolitical uncertainty, not a powerful indicator. Do I think we're going to go straight to 100? Probably not, but what do I know? Nobody knows. Nobody in the White House knows. Nobody in Tehran knows. Certainly not a guy sitting in Germany knows. Nobody does. So the better way to play the energy sector is through the oil stocks, because they will now make money hand over fist on these elevated levels. We're now above the 200, the golden line. We're above the 50-day, the purple line. The trend is shifting. We can clearly see it here in the chart. The majority of the people probably will need for it to get over 95 and break the downtrend to really get on board with it. But we can see it, we can feel it, it's there. And again, for the oil companies, it doesn't even matter if we're 90. They would actually prefer, I've said this before, the sweet spot that the oil companies prefer the oil price to be is around $85 a barrel. That's when they make absolute bank, but the effects on the economy are not too terrible. So we're at 90, they're making even more money. We go down to 81, they're still making great money. We win either way without any of the crazy risks that the speculators in the oil price take right now. Now the problem is that the oil stocks obviously have jumped quite a bit. Let's look, for example, at Equinor, the Norwegian oil company that I told you about 10 days ago. Whoop! Great trade. Congratulations if you were in it. Let's look at Oxy, another one in the US that I told you about. Whoop! Great trade. This one definitely interesting on any pullback because we broke the downtrend. We jumped above the 50. We're way above the 200 anyway. This one looks great. And this one, as you know, this is a lagger, but then runs up to the leaders quickly. Now, the problem is we look at Chevron, which was my second recommendation for the US oil stocks and has been had a great run. But you can see down here, RSI overbought. That's tough to get on board with this. But there's one oil stock that I really like. And you know what? I'm going to throw in another one just for good measure and because this is a tough day, so we all need a little positive something that I really like that looks a lot better. It's not ConocoPhillips, which looks good, but as you can see, is getting into this overbought RSI area as well. No, it's actually Devon Energy, which looks outstanding, jumped above the 50-day yesterday, downtrend already broken, as you can see. Support zone, well, used to be resistance zone. I need to make this blue. I'll do that next time. And 200 days successfully defended right here. And look at the RSI. This one has a lot of room to run. I can see capital rotating into Devon Energy, which has a great technical setup, but is not as overheated as some other oil stocks are. The other one that I like, but this is more of a, you can wait on this and just put it on the watch list, but be ready, is Exxon Mobil. If Exxon Mobil breaks above this resistance zone, it's party time. again, look at the RSI, right? Much higher than Devon. So I actually would prefer for this one to maybe cool off just a little bit. But remember, with the tech sector in the equity markets getting absolutely slacked, with Google free cash flow, major disappointment, Tesla, those earnings. The capitalists looking around saying, where can we invest? And they see the cheap oil stocks and they see oil price as 90 and they say, let's go. My capitalists go in there right now. I don't even want to take any risks in this earnings season. So there could be just inflows coming in the coming days and weeks that have nothing to do with the fundamentals, not even much to do with the oil price, just rotation in the equity markets. Either way, for us, being long oil stocks, we're a winner. Now, in Europe, you know I like this company. I like Shell. They just broke above the resistance zone. I talked about it in the last big oil video. This is going to be a runner. But look at the RSI. We are overbought. Earnings are coming up in the week. Probably going to be good. I would like to get this a little cheaper. Maybe gap fill here or gap fill here. I don't think we're going to go much lower in this market. But then this is an easy buy for me personally. And might not be for you. I'm not your financial advisor. But we got a major gap fill here. And obviously if we break above this zone right here and get over 41.50, this is a runner. This is just looks great. If you like this content, by the way, while I get to the cojones trade of the coming weeks, hit the subscribe button so you are ahead of the market, as we clearly were with oil and the oil stocks. And here's the cojones trade that nobody's talking about right now, because it's not an oil trade itself, it's an oil adjacent trade. Solar. This is a chart of First Solar. And First Solar, as you can see here, it has some wild swings, especially with earnings. So you can see here, beat earnings, party time, across the USA. I saw way too much Wayne's World when I was a kid. I apologize, that was embarrassing. Or you see here, missed earnings and just cratered. But the setup after the most recent massive correction is really interesting. Now, we're still below the 200, we're still below the 50. This is not the type of trade that I will take, but I wanted to point it out to you as the cojones trade of the week because nobody's talking about it. We are close to the downtrend. Oil price going through the roof. There's gonna be the time where first oil goes up. So all the investors jump on oil and the oil stocks. And then they look around and say, wait, who else profits from this? Oh yeah, renewable energies. Yeah, solar stocks. So they're going to look at the TAN, the TAN, best name ever, by the way, for an ETF. The solar ETF. TAN, solar, get it? Sun, yeah, that's a good one. And they're going to look at First Solar. I mean, if they're really brave, they're going to look at the Chinese solar companies, but First Solar is going to be one of the top runners here. So that could happen. And that could be the push that gets us to break the downtrend. And here's a fact you need to know about First Solar. that makes this trade so explosive. Traditionally, First Solar has a super high short interest. So right now it's about 10% of the float. So we break this downtrend. The shorties are gonna run like they're in Pamplona running away from the bulls. And that can propel the stock price up very, very quickly. We saw a typical short squeeze scenario right here after we established ourselves above the 200. Whoop! I'm not saying it's going to be like this. I don't know this. I can't predict the future. I'm pretty cool. I'm not that cool. But you don't want to get caught short if we break the downtrend. However, earnings coming in a week. You look at the recent earnings history. Let's just go to 2024. You see 3 beats in a row, 3 misses in a row, 2 beats in a row, a miss, a beat. It is all over the place. So I have no idea what the earnings is going to be this time, because I'm not a solar expert. So that's the reason why I don't take this trade. And the signal is not there for me. But again, this stock moves really fast, really high, or really low. So by the time you would get the real signal with a break of the downtrend, this stock probably has already moved 5-10%. And what I do like is, with this cojones trade of the week, if you want to take it, and we're at 211 pre-market. Now it's early pre-market US, right? This can change significantly, but that would be the break, right? 211 is here. So you can see we establish ourselves. We would break the downtrend and then have an easy 10% just to the 200. And on the other hand, we can put a stop right below the intraday lows and get stopped out with around 4%. So we get a 2.5 to 1 reward risk ratio. That is really attractive for a trade. But again, it's not for me, but it might be for you. And I just wanted to show it to you and bring it to your awareness before it starts to develop, because that's what we're all about here. Look at the RSI down at the bottom. Look how bombed out this stock has been. Nobody's invested in it. The shorties have run it down to the ground, and well done on that one. We give them that. But again, at some point they got to cover. And as you can see, for the past 4 days, we started to form a little bit of a bottom, right? Is it the greatest bottom we have ever seen in human mankind? Not even close. But all it takes is a break of the downtrend and the short squeeze is on. So this is for speculative trading. Just wanted to point it out because nobody's talking about solar right now. I gave you the oil stocks. Again, don't short the oil price. The oil stocks is where the action is. And then we're making money. And that's what we like to do the most. That is it for today. Have a great day. Talk to you tomorrow. Rick Rule interview tomorrow. I think you're really going to like it. It's very different than what you usually hear with Rick Rule interviews of what's the hot commodity sector and what's your favorite commodity stocks. We're going in a different direction. But again, I think it will really give you very valuable information to be ahead of the market. Even for me, I was like, wow, he threw in some nuggets there that I didn't even think about. So I personally going to watch that video again myself to pick out some of the nuggets and to learn something. It was that good. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a video. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.